Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm finally doing the Booktube newbie tag. Yay! It took me so long to do this. I don't know why. I actually started vlogging and doing other stuff that I wanted to put on my channel, so I did those first instead of doing this, but I'm finally going to be doing these. I haven't thought of any of the answers to these. I literally just copy paste the questions and I'm ready to answer them for you. I need my tea. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? I basically found out about Booktube, I would like to say not even a month back, and I was so shocked. I talked about this in my first video, but I was really shocked to find out people just all over the world reading together and talking about books. I don't have anyone in my life to talk about books because no one really reads that much. Sometimes I share like a series with my sister or something like that, but we really don't talk about it, and I would like to, because I have so many feelings. You know how it is, like you read a book and you just want to talk about it. You want to let all of that stuff out, and you can't because no one understands what you're talking about. So it was really nice to find that people actually did that on YouTube. I would like to make friends. I don't want to get like a ton of subscribers or anything like that. Like, I don't think I will be able to do that, but I do want to at least have a couple of friends to talk about books. And just people that understand that when you finish a book, it's like you finish a chapter of your life, like seriously. So it's nice to have people that I can actually talk about things like that. I think that would be really cool, really interesting, and also seeing the way that other people take, like others people take on books, because I think that is really interesting, because I do feel like it changes from not just each individual, but also depending on the place that you live, how you've been raised, all of the cultural, social, even economic situation that people are in. I think it is really cool to see how they take in different books and their opinions on them, because I don't catch on every single thing on a book, so seeing other people's opinion on it actually opens my own and makes me realize other stuff that are in the books that I have not realized. So it's real cool to do that, and that's why I started to make a YouTube channel. The next question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring into Booktube? Again, I think I have a really weird and unique way of looking at books, and I tend to pick up on certain things that I feel like not everyone do. Also, I've seen people here in Booktube, but most of them live in the USA, Canada, in the UK, places like that. I live in Mexico, which is a really, really different country, at a really different place. So I feel like my view on things are really unique and really weird. I'm also really excited to show people around here. Going into bookshops in here would be kind of really cool, because I've actually watched a lot of vlogs and a lot of people go out into the bookshops around the world, and it's really cool to see how people, you know, the way that things change from place to place. So as soon as we can all go out, I would love to do that as well. The next question is, what are you most excited about this new channel? And I think I've already talked about it, but I am really excited to meet new people and see different and just have different takes on book, different perspectives would be really nice, and just being able to talk to people about books. That's why I'm here for. Why do you love reading is the next question. I actually started reading when I was 9 years old. Like my first real book was, weirdly enough, The Shining by Stephen King, and ever since then I've loved to read. Like, that book was my introduction to just how amazing getting into reading really is. You know, every single time that I've gone through a rough patch in life, I always feel safe surrounded by books. Like when I was in middle school, was it middle school? It was high school. When I was in high school, I was going through a really rough thing in life, and I didn't want to be like really social, so I wanted to like really isolate myself. And what I used to do every single time that I had free time is I would go into the library, and I would just love being there. I think that's why I also really love to read classics as well, because when I was there were a ton of classics and I would love to go and pick out books and read them. So yeah, it's always made me feel really safe. And also I just love to sort of travel the world in books, but I think sometimes you can also find really interesting topics that we should all be talking about. There are really problems in our world, and I think by writing and by reading about them we can really change our perspective, get educated about things like that. So yeah, I think books are an essential part, or they should be an essential part of everyone's life, and they just make me feel safe. They make me learn things that are important that a lot of times you don't learn in school, obviously. And also I think for me, I love the possibility that books bring, whether it is science fiction, so they really make me feel a little bit more creative, especially because I'm a student. I'm about to get my degree in physics engineering. I'm this close as soon as this pandemic gets over. But yeah, so it's not really a creative thing, and I think it should be a little bit more creative, because in engineering you are just solving problems. And I think by reading a lot of these books I definitely get like a different perspective on things, and it's really nice because it makes me think about other possibilities, which is really nice. So I spent much on that question. The next question is, what book or series got you into reading? I've already said it. The Shining by Stephen King, weirdly enough. Yeah, I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I do have a long life goal, really crazy one, to read every single Stephen King book out there, which will take a lot of time, because you know there's a lot of books that I want to read, not only Stephen King's. So I am really trying to read all of his work, because it's just, I really liked it. I feel like especially in his early days, or like original Stephen King, like The Shining, It, all of that, I think he's more about the people. Like he writes characters that are so well written with a lot of texture, that what you are, you know, that when he brings up the monsters, he's created this really real texture environment that you are really scared about them. So yeah. The next question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I have so many questions, because again, I found about this about a month ago, and I just immediately started blogging, and also it motivated me to read more. But I guess, how do you do it? I mean, right now we are all quarantined, so it's really easy to read more books and to make the videos and all of that. But I know a lot of them also work or go to school, and it's amazing because they read a ton of books, and I watch some videos on like how to read faster and all of that. But I just cannot understand how can you read like 20 books a month and also go to school and also have a job, and it's just really crazy. I try to read about 100 books a year, but I mean, that's 2 or 3 books a week, and I think that's completely doable. But like reading 5-6 books every single week, it's insane. So I guess that would be my question. And just I also, this is something that I ask everyone, not just people here on YouTube, but like I love asking, hey, what is your favorite book, to anyone. Every single time that I meet someone, that is my number one question, because I think you can know so much about a person by knowing what their favorite book is. So that would be my question for every single person, especially I think in Booktube now. Yeah, what challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel would be the hardest to overcome? Oh, I think for me, at least as if right now that I've been doing a couple of videos, I think it would be keeping up with a reading schedule. I never done that before. I've always read just for fun, and I think I'm gonna keep it that way. One of the worst things that I can do to myself is have a TBR set up to me. I'm doing the owls what is that, the magical readathon. So there's like some owls, and then there's some prompts that you have to achieve, and so for that you have to set up like a TBR. So you have already set up what you are supposed to be reading for the month, and that is such a hard thing for me to do, because I honestly just feel like, especially, you know, you finish a book and you have a certain feeling, and you have I don't know, you have all of these feelings, and you just kind of don't want to pick up just any other book. You have a hunger for a certain type of or book, or of trope or characters that you are interested in, that you want to read something. So to me, it's not a really predictable thing to be like, oh, I'm gonna be reading this and this month. I like to have a really big TBR in my shelves, so that I know that doesn't matter how I'm feeling, I'm gonna have something that I would want to read. So I think that would be the hardest thing for me while on Booktube. When did you start reading? I already answered this. Also, when I was 9 years old. I mean, I read before that, but it was kids' books. Not really like sustainable, big, with a lot of meat in them sort of books. So, yeah. Where do you read? I read most of the time in my bed before going to sleep. And recently I've been getting into audiobooks, and I was doing those while I was driving, because I do spend a lot of time driving in the car. So having audiobooks was really life-changing, to be honest. But then obviously staying here, and audiobooks have become not my main way to read. I just really like to have my physical book. That's my favorite way of reading. So, you know, I've gotten a couple of subscriptions in Scribd and also in Storytel, where you pay an amount of money and then you have unlimited access to a lot of books. So I am trying to take advantage of that, but most of the time I just read in my bed before going to sleep. I just set aside 2 or 3 hours to read, and that's where I like to do most of my reading. What kind of books do you like to read is the last question. I like to read a little bit of everything except for romance. I am not a big fan of romance. Why? I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I should be a huge fan of romance and YA and all of that. I am a fan of YA. I'm not a fan of romance. I really like to read classics, though I am not an expert. I do my best to read as much as I can, especially if this is like a topic that I'm interested in. I tend to be interested in a lot of things. When I was actually choosing a career, it was so hard for me to choose one, because I was just interested in everything, and I'm not joking. I wanted to do everything. I was like, I can study law, I can go into engineering, I can be a designer, and I just really love, I guess I just really like to, when people have that passion, you know, when they're passionate for something, when they really like to do something and they go for it. So to me, reading, again, is about all of those possibilities, and just getting to meet characters that I know they're not real, but they feel pretty much like it, is something really exciting to me. So I do like to read a little bit about everything. So I like to do contemporary, I like to do YA, I like to do, I think my favorite ones are horror, thriller. Why? I don't know. Again, maybe there's something wrong with me, but those are my absolute favorite ones. I really love to read sci-fi. Science fiction is just amazing, and one of my favorite things, especially if it is well written. I loved it. I try not to be really critical, because obviously I've had classes on physics, a ton of classes of physics. So sometimes it's hard when you're reading a book and you're like, that's not possible. So I try to not be critical in the science, and getting my head around that, you know, this is science fiction. But I do really enjoy reading those. What else? Again, I enjoy classics. That started when I was in high school, and I got a library full of classics basically, and I just picked them up and I started really liking them, because a lot of the times people think they're boring, but you know what? Again, I have a really weird and a really unique way of looking at books, or seeing little things that a lot of people don't in books. So sometimes it's not boring, because you're not really reading, or you're not really paying attention to the main focus on the book. And a lot of the time, if not all of the times with classics, what you're really reading about is a certain period of time or certain really important things in our world. So I do really love reading classics. Classics are always something that after I read them, months and months later, I'm still thinking about them and I'm still like trying to comprehend about it or seeing things that I've read on the books in real life all over me. So yeah, I do really like them. I like to read adult books as well. I have some here. I really like Dan Brown, John John Grisham, I guess that's how you pronounce them. But I also really enjoy YA. I love the Throne of Glass series. I read Divergent series. I don't know if I love them. The first book I loved. The rest of them was like, I'm actually reading the Percy Jackson series. I'm in the second book, so I also like to read children. Again, I just really love to explore different worlds, and I think especially I really love to go through different writers, because when you're reading their books, you're not really just like reading about the characters, you're also reading about this person, the author, the writer, and so much of them is put into the books that I think is really interesting to read them. So yeah, that would be the last question, I think. Let me see if I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. When did you... Yeah, I think that is it. So that's everything for my newbie book tag or my Booktube newbie tag. Hopefully you enjoyed. Please do subscribe, like, and comment. If you're watching this, do tell me, as I've told you before, what is your favorite book? I would love to know that. I would love to read it. I mean, favorite books are not favorite just because. There's a reason why it is your favorite book, and I would love to read it. I would love to know if you have book recommendations. I do already have some videos if you want to go ahead and watch it, but most importantly, I would love to be your friend and to talk about books. So if you have a Booktube channel that you would like me to check out, I would love to do that. If you have like a Bookstagram, your Goodreads page, anything like that, please leave them down below, because I would love to connect with more people that like to read. And that, I guess that'll be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.